Welcome Payal onto the stage with a big applause.
Her name has become synonymous with leadership, and you may have seen her around coaching, speaking, and inspiring people on achieving success.
Be a part of the beautiful mornings that you all are in today. Good morning, everyone.
Has to date transformed the lives
so nice to see all of you. I'm sure none of you are going to remember me based on what you saw here or what you heard about me. So here's how I would like you to remember me and connect with me going forward. My name is Payal and I am your good friend and mentor. Is that good to remember? Easy to remember? Yes, yes? Yeah, I wanted some energy in the room.
She's been an advisor to some
now, you know, I was talking to somebody out there and I was telling them, I said it's always nice to be in forums like this because otherwise I'm always in boardrooms and it's, you know, you can't just say in different ways and inspire in different ways, but platforms like this allow me to inspire you in ways which I cannot in boardrooms. So I would love to know each of you here in the room. I would love to know your names also. So at the count of 3, loud and clear, give me your names. 1, 2, 3. Come on. Nice to know you all. See, they always say you should know your audience, right? So some of you I have already met earlier on the wonderful platform of IPL. I've been a faculty there and it's amazing to see all of you here. Some of you I know because I have done some workshops and I have done coaching in your company. So always nice to connect with lovely and great minds like you all. So let me ask you to do something as we go forward with my topic of speaking about how do you take charge and lead. What I want you to do is, I want you, each of you, to look at your partner, okay? Look at your partner and tell them, today onward, you are unstoppable. Come on, can you do that? Look at your partner and tell them, today onwards, you are unstoppable. And you know what? You know what? Okay, let's take this a little forward, you know. Let's just take it a little more ahead. I want you to look at the same partner, look at the same partner and tell them, it's high time for you, my friend. You need to. He's hesitating to say it. See, the reason I asked you to do this, my friends, is not to create any rah-rah moment or make you feel any motivated. I'm not a great motivational speaker and I don't think you need any motivation. The reason I asked you to do this is because 18 years back when I stepped out of corporate America to do what I am doing, the more I began to coach leaders and the more I began to delve deeper into the subject of leadership, very early on in my career, I realized that the real game of leadership is completely internal. And so how far you're going to reach in your career, how much you're going to accomplish, where you're going to take yourself and your company is dependent not just on your hard work, your skill sets, your abilities, talents. It is predominantly dependent on 3 major leadership elements. Number 1, how effectively can you lead yourself? Number 2, how well can you manage your thought process and leverage it to your advantage? And number 3, how quickly can you change and upgrade your behavior patterns to adapt to a completely complex and evolving business world? And so it is the alignment of these 3 elements that will decide where each of us is going to reach in our career and how much we can accomplish for ourselves and for the organization. And so in the little bit time that I have with you today, I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to give you some food for thought on these elements so that you can walk away with some actionable changes in your own leadership. How many of you, let me ask you this with a show of hands, how many of you here feel that you are at that stage of your career where you feel that you could do much more and you want to make a significant impact? How many of us in the room, so I will know who I'm talking with? Okay, great. Let me take it from here then. You know, one of the questions that I have always been asked, and this usually happens when people have to ask me very quickly during the book signing or when they would take a picture with me and they have to ask one question. That one question has always been this: that Payal, if there was something, one quality that each of us as a leader must develop, what would that quality be? And my friends, if, I'll just walk down. I want to talk with you, not to you. So I'm going to leave the stage now. But, if I was to come into your world, into your life and talk to you one-on-one and tell you exactly what that quality would be like, it would be your ability to take charge and lead. And in my own career life, I learned this lesson in a super hard way. I'll share this real life story with you since all of you raised your hands when you all said, we want to do something significant. So the year is 2011, and I was, by that time I had already left corporate America, and I was starting to, get into this work of coaching and everything. And I remember somebody had referred me to speak on a leadership summit that was happening in Atlanta. So I grabbed that opportunity because it was always something I wanted to do. I wanted to do it not just from the past 1 year or something. This was something I was looking at for many years. Okay, so every time I would hear someone speaking over there, I would see, oh, you know what, one day I'm going to be on this large platform on the stage and all Americans are going to be there and I'm going to speak around. So I was too excited. Sorry, please excuse my voice. I'm a little down with that cold and cough. So I was super excited. So I grabbed that opportunity and I began to prepare. Okay, I did a lot of preparation of my speech of 15 to 30 minutes that I had to. I started to practice in front of the mirror just to make sure that I'm good. And then on the day of the event, I'm there in the green room. And while I'm in the green room, I have these leaders of different companies who are also going to be speaking. And then I'm reminding myself, oh, you know what? They always say that you are, if you're surrounded by like-minded people and people better than you, oh my goodness, you're going to get that vibes. And I was like, yeah, Payal, you're getting those vibes. It's so good, You're surrounded by people who are so confident. And so as I was discussing with them, I was feeling good. I was still rote learning what I wanted to say. And those days I used to rote learn, unlike today. So I used to rote learn what I wanted to say. And then as I heard my name being called, and I walked towards that stage, something inside of me shifted, and I don't know what it was. All of a sudden, I was nervous. My heart was beating so quick and so loud that I could hear it, and my palms were becoming sweaty. So I walked towards the stage, I see the audience, and I'm like, am I at the right place? How many of you can feel that, that you've practiced, you've done everything, you worked on that product, you've done everything, but when it's the D-Day to actually present it, you're like, am I right? Did I do the right thing? So then I saw that podium and I went and hid myself behind that podium. Why? Because first of all, my height is short, so I would not be seen too clearly. And even if I was, I had something to hide behind. And I stood there looking at the audience, and I was blank. I stuttered, I stammered, I somehow completed that 20 minutes of what I had to say, and it looked as if it was those 20 hours of my life. And I walked out of that stage, and I'm looking at the people out there. That day, there was not a single applause for me as I left the stage. I went into the green room, back, and all those confident leaders with whom I felt I have taken those vibes, looking at me, and they were just as if their eyes were questioning me. What just happened there? And as the next person went on stage, I'm sitting there in the green room with my head into my palms, and I'm literally telling myself, I can never forget that, I still get goosebumps on that. I'm telling myself, you failed. And you failed on a large magnitude, Payal. No one ever will invite a woman of Indian descent, a woman of color from India, to speak on such a large scale, and that too on a topic of leadership. Never. You failed on a large magnitude. For the next few days, for the next few months, my career life just dragged. I would wake up in the morning, I would go, because I had to do some coaching done. And those days, my coachings was basically, I would be coaching solopreneurs. For what? For a mere $45 or $50. That's it. As compared to the skyrocket price now, that was it. I would drag myself, I would go get that done. If someone would say, you need to speak on the stage, I would like, no, that's not me. No. By now, I had already hit rock bottom with all the self-doubt and everything coming to me. So it was fine. Work is going fine. I'm able to pay my bills up there. Things are fine. Not going to get there again. So this went on for a couple of months. And then I remember that day when I was driving my older daughter to her swim lessons. And we were on the highway. I was speeding up. She tells me, I want you to switch on the radio. And I said, nah, I'm not going to switch on the radio. I was not in a mood. She said, no, I want to hear the top 10 Hollywood songs that are coming. And I said, okay, fine. So I did that. I switched on the radio for her. And as the songs were playing and as I'm speeding up onto the highway, there was a break, there were some ads. And after the ads, they had called someone to speak something. I don't know who that person was also. And as he was speaking, he said something. He said, how you talk to yourself, about yourself, when by yourself, is what decides your success level. For some reason, my foot left the accelerator, car started to slow down, and my daughter from behind is, we are getting late, mom, press the accelerator, we are getting late. So I press the accelerator, I take the exit, I drop her to her swim lessons. She gets off, gives me a hug. I don't know what happened to me that day. I do not give her a hug back. She goes, I quickly grab a paper and a pencil and I write this down. And then I read it and I reread it. How you talk to yourself, about yourself, when by yourself, is what decides your level of success. And that's the moment I got it what my mistake was. My mistake was not about failing. That was not my mistake at all. I had prepared and I had prepared a lot. My mistake was while preparation, what was going on inside of me was that same self-doubt, that same type of imposter syndrome, and that same type of criticism that I was doing to myself. So the preparation was not a problem. I had the skills, I had the abilities. That day when I failed, that also might not have been a problem. The problem was getting out of that failure and having that confidence to be back on stage again and to speak with people and to actually get into corporate America. The problem was I had began to tell myself exactly what everyone told me. Before leaving corporate America, everyone had told me that this is a career suicide. You're leaving a secure job to get into something which is completely white male dominated. And I kept telling myself I should have listened to them. They were correct because Google proved it. The facts are out there. So I agreed to them. I should have agreed to them, but I did not. And now when I took that, it made me realize that I took the wrong step. I took a wrong step. Why? Because people of Indian descent are seen as someone who have an MBA or an engineering degree under their belt, can work heads down, climb the career ladder, and if things are good, you might just reach where you need to. That's why we have 0.3% of the people from Indian descent reaching where they are. It was a career suicide. And that I kept telling myself, that was the mistake. How you talk to yourself, about yourself, when by yourself, can become a game changer in your career. And so I took that to heart. I made sure that I practiced what it said, and I began taking it step by step, and gradually and slowly, I went back on stage. Gradually and slowly, I became known as a coach. And by the year of 2017, I got to be known as the only woman of Indian descent to be a leadership speaker, executive coach, and a book writer on leadership in a completely white male-dominated industry. And I share this with you, my friends, not to impress you, but to express to you the impact and the value of take charge. And take charge of what? Take charge of your state of being. It's one of the most neglected leadership elements. Let me just talk to you a little bit about it. When I say take charge of your state of being, what I simply mean is if that day I would have taken charge of my state of being, it would have not taken me months to get through this. It would have been quick. I'm not talking about resilience. Resilience is more deeper than what you read on Google. What I am talking about is how do you show up every single day at your work? How are your teams showing up at work every single day? Have you ever checked on that? And if I were to go deeper, it is as a leader, it's your ability to not allow outer circumstances and people to dictate your outcome. It means as a leader, you have developed the art of being highly inner self-directed. It's one of the most neglected leadership qualities today. And I really want you to think about this and reflect. Just like it happened in my career life, you have had instances in your own career life. At that time when things are going south, when we are seeing the economy take a tilt right now, when we are seeing that a lot of things are happening into our own workspace, when you are willing to take the risk but your management doesn't support you, when you are willing to make sure that you will support your team but but the external stakeholders are not the ones who trust you and your decision, at that point of time, my friends, what state of being do you operate in? Do you just say, I'm a survivor, fine, I will just go with the flow, I'll see if I can quit, I can go and join someone else, something else? Are you a person who survives by saying, that's it, I'm just going to ignore everything around me, just do my heads down and I'll do my work, I'll take my salary, I'm fine? Are you a person who thrives in the organization? A thriver is somebody who would be in an autopilot zone. It's nothing great about it. He's going to be in an autopilot zone, everything is going fine, I'm going with the flow, fine, if this project is not there, I'll get into something else. So you're just moving on. Trying to battle off the layoffs, trying to battle off this economy which is moving, thriving. Or are you a winner? Are you a winner who decides exactly, who doesn't ask themselves this question, can I do it? They ask themselves, how can I do it? There's a difference between can I and how can I. You need to bring that shift. That's the state of being, 3 states of being that you want to operate in. So I want you to really reflect on this, my friend. As a leader, what state of being are you operating every single day at your workplace? In fact, science has proven this so well that your state of being has an impact on your performance. It has an impact on your performance. How many of you watch TV at home? Okay, and it cannot be so less, okay, I'm sure each of us watch TV. But somehow we read, right, people should not watch TV, like, oh, should I say? Okay, so just imagine this. Imagine if you are watching TV, you're quite relaxed, you're watching your favorite show with a glass of beer or whatever you like, and you're quite enjoying, and someone comes, takes the remote and switches the channel. Now they are watching what they want to watch. What do you feel like doing? Go on, what do you feel like doing? You said something. Grab the remote back. Switch off the TV, okay. What else? But the remote is with someone else now. You're married, right? Like this, an answer can come from someone who's married, right? I'm married for 23 years. So in my home, it is, I have to see not just whether the remote is with my husband, it's also with my kids now, though my kids are very grown up now. Okay, so, but at the same time, when someone says, like, I'm like, ask me after 23 years of marriage, you know how to grab the remote back. But the reason I asked you this question, my friends, is because in reality, if you see, we have given that remote at our workplace to everybody around us, to the economy, to our work culture, just to everybody around us. I'm not going to sit and list them. And we are not even planning to take it back. And how do you know you've given your remote? Just think about these instances. How many times has it happened where you were in the boardroom, and I've seen this happening so much in these boardrooms here. You are in the boardroom and you want to say something, you know exactly that the topic is not getting aligned, and I see some smiles. But you want to say something, but you're not going to say it. You're going to keep it to yourself. And then later on, you will go outside the boardroom and then grab that one person and say, I was also going to say this. Remote is with someone else. Maybe you were going to speak something and someone cuts you through the conversation. And then you're like, okay, you know what, I'll show him later. And later on, you make a group near the coffee table and everything, and you say, I don't know what he or she thinks. Yeah, every time next time you just watch. When moment he says something, no, I'm also going to go. That was not an outcome that you were looking at. That's the ego speaking. It's only going to get you a result that you did not want. How many times it has happened you wanted to say a no to some project, but you landed up saying yes, and later on repented. How much have I taken? This was not something I wanted to do. And later on you realize it was not even connected with my goal. Those are all instances, very few instances I'm sharing here, that tell you that your remote is with someone else. And that has a consequence. Every time you allow someone to basically have the remote, you're basically telling them that you are ready to be hijacked. They're going to hijack your day, your career, your goals. They're going to hijack your agenda. Everybody's going to be on your agenda after that. And you're not going to, all of you raise your hands. Oh, I want to make something, I want to do something significant. How? When you don't have time, everybody's on your agenda. When you exactly don't know how to manage. And the problem is when you're operating in this type of a state of being where you're frustrated, you know what most of us do? We are here, we are feeling frustrated with the current situation. So we are like, okay, you know what? I'll just hop on to another company, another project, another boss. I'll just move on. You've not moved on, you've just hopped on. And it's a matter of time that something will happen here, and what are you going to do? Because it's the same old you with the same old pattern of thinking and behaving. Nothing has changed. And soon career life is over, my friend, and when you look back there, you will say, hey, you know what, that day when Payal was asking me about my dreams, about my aspirations in the career world, I raised my hands and I said, yes, I am here to make some significant difference in what I am doing. I'm here to launch some products. I'm here to do something. But the only thing I have done is keeping on hopping on. And soon career life is over. If that day, just if that day, I would have known exactly how to expand myself from inside, how to make sure that I can keep the remote, how do I work on myself, grow myself, so that now when I hop on, I'm hopping on not out of frustration, it's because of inspiration. I have so much inside of me, I can do something better in this career world. My friends, I must have never coached anybody on skills. If somebody comes and tells me, can you coach me on skills? No. The only coaching I have ever done from so many years has been to help people bring about a transformation in their thinking and behaviors. If you can do that, I assure you, you will see a major, significant difference in your outcome. Significant difference, not a minor one. And I can only emphasize this. If I had time, I would have given you real life examples of my own clients who have brought about that significant difference. But I really want you to work on this thing, on your state of being. Can I have you all say this loud and clear with me, please? I take charge of my state of being. What a wonderful audience. Look at your partner and tell them success is within. Come on. Give a high five, please, give a high five. It's not so bad also, the person sitting next to you. If I could leave that stage and come into your world, you can get into each other's world. In the time that I have limited, let me share with you at least one way in which you can take charge and lead. And one of those ways that you can apply is begin to raise your game. Okay, begin to raise your game. And what do I mean by that? You have to work more on yourself than you can work on your job. From now on, always remember this equation. The higher up you go, you will need it. Your career life is 20% skills and 80% the person behind the skills, which is you. That simply means you've done your skills, you have the skills. The fact that you are a part of this wonderful group, the fact that you have done your IPL certification, it means you have the skills. That's 20%. You're building it up. You'll keep building. We are in a career world where we have to keep working on our skills. Otherwise you're going to be obsolete very soon. But at the same time, you have to realize that the view from the top is very different. And the reason I can say that is because I work with them. The view from the top is very, very different. 80% of your career success, your next level, I can almost guarantee you, will depend on the person you are. Who is talking about you? And I think I was talking with someone here. Who is talking about you when you are here? Every damn decision of your next level is done behind closed doors where you are not there. And I want you to take this very seriously. Every damn decision about your next level is taken when you are not in that room. Your next level cannot be asked. It has to be taken. It has to be given to you. If you're asking for it, be rest assured, it will only take you to a certain level. And after that, you're going to get stuck. And it's going to hit you real bad, because that's where I see people frustrated when they are already into director's level and they would say, Payal, you know, I'm just stuck in the director level for the past 6 years. Because you're asking, my friend. I cannot teach you how to ask. People come to me, how should I ask for salary raise? You don't. You don't ask for salary raises. It's given to you. You have to become that person from where it comes. Otherwise, you are going to be stuck in your career life. My entire life has gone in only coaching corporate leaders, and I can see it and I can say it with full conviction. So I want you to work on yourself. How are you working on yourself? What are you doing to expand your knowledge, to expand yourself, to really grab opportunities? What are you doing to learn more than your industry? What are you hearing these days? What is your conversations like in the room? Who are you connecting with beyond LinkedIn? Who are you meeting over coffee, over beer, over happy hours? What are you doing? It matters a lot. How is your thinking moving? Are you thinking the same way? Then again, it's the same old you with the same old pattern of thinking and behaving. What's changed? It's insane to say that I am changing everything, but my results are not changing, Payal. And I tell them it won't change either. So you've got to bring about that change in yourself, my friends. So I want you to ask this question to yourself. On what ways am I working on myself? How am I bringing that 20% and 80%? Right? So to wrap this up, I would say, my friends, that the problem to be solved in our corporate world today is not how should we innovate more, what products should be built. We are doing that. We will do that much better because of people like you who are so invested in themselves, in their career. The problem to be solved in today's corporate world is how do we innovate more by taking charge of our state of being and those around us. In fact, HBR has rated this quality as one of the highest today. When, I don't know who it was, but one of the CEOs who had come on my podcast, I had asked him a question. I said, from the top, as you are hiring for your team, what qualities do you look for? Skills was 20%. It was all the other things that these people look for. So that's the reason I'm sharing this very openly with you in this forum. That you have to see how you're taking charge. Though of course I coach mainly only corporate leaders, but in my career life I'd had the opportunity to coach athletes. I've spoken at military camps in Virginia. I have had the opportunity to coach mountain climbers, and I have learned from them one thing. And I've learned from them one thing, that when these people are training their cadets or when they are training their astronauts, the entire training is so rigorous than anywhere else I have seen. But at the same time, they are training them to make sure that they can be self-focused, very self-focused. Because they always tell me, up there what happens, we don't know. They should be the ones who are able to manage their thought process and leverage that. My question to you, my friends, then is, why then, and think of this deeply, and take this out to your teams out there, why then do we in the corporate world shy away from all of this? Why are we in the corporate world more targeted driven than being self-focused driven? Why? When we are in a dynamic situation ourselves, every day there is a change. Look at the newspapers. The Economic Times today itself had as to where the economy is moving. There's a global tilt happening. Companies are laying off. So much is going on. Why then are we feeling that we have to be only target-oriented and not self-focus driven? Why? So I want to leave you with two things today. Number one, how are you going to work on yourself every day? And number two, make a conscious decision of your state of being. Help your teams to come in a state of being that you want. And if you feel you're still in a survivor and a thriver state, see what it's going to take you to be there. I don't have time to talk to you on that, though I would love to, okay? But in conclusion, my friends, here's what I would like to share with all of you. See, the corporate world always teaches us to put our hands out for everything. Okay, give me more love, more respect, more salary, give me that position. It always teaches us to put our hands out for everything. We've learned it. It's inside of each of us. Wherever you are in the world, doesn't matter. This, my friends, is not a hand of a leader. It can't be. This, my friends, is a hand of a victim. This is a hand that is saying, you know what, I work in one of the top companies in the world, but guess what? I am powerless. I have the best team. I've built a winning team, but guess what? I am powerless. Oh, you should just see my organization. It has one of the top, it's top rated, but I am powerless. This, my friends, is a hand of a powerless leader. So always asking. You've got to begin to take charge, and you've got to know that to win the game, you have to close that fist. You have to know how to grab it. You have to know how to demand. You have to know how to be the person who can get through things. And that, my friends, itself will become a game changer in your life. So I hope in this little time that I've had with you, I have been able to share with you at least 0.1% of what you can take back with you. Because I truly believe, and if any of you have connected with or followed me ever in social media, have heard me before, you know I say this. It's not a matter of where you are right now. You have to close that gap between where you are and where you want to go. And that gap can be closed with the changes you bring in yourself, in your thinking and behavior. Always ask yourself this question. Before I leave the corporate world, how will I leave it better than what I found it? How will I make an impact before I leave? Thank you so much, my friends. You've been a great audience. And I hope I've kept to the time limit, but thank you so much. You've been a great audience, and it has been a pleasure to be a part of this lovely association. And Sheila, if there's any questions, I would be very happy to take questions and from them. That's the reason I wrapped it up a little early, so that I can talk with all of you.
What struck me was when you said thriving versus winning. Then I felt there's a subtle difference between them. We tend to take them as the same.
Yeah.
Now, just your thoughts between these two, thriving versus winning. You know.
You got the book also.
Yes.
That book is of winning only. So when you read the book, you're going to find some different elements in it. But again, thriving and between the thriving and winning. Thriving has got more to do with your autopilot state. Things are moving on, I'm going on, whatever is going on. It's like more like a herd mentality. That, okay, everyone is doing this, I'll also get into this and I'll keep following. If I innovate, fine. If I don't innovate also, it's fine. For a person who comes to the organization with a winning a leader that has got the quality of a winner, is somebody who is relentless in the game. When I say relentless in the game, what I simply mean is they are not here to finish one project and say, oh great, you know what, I got this done. They're continuously planning on completion and the next one and what's next. They have a bigger picture in their mind. They are not really worried of only taking the salary, working as much as you can, and if things don't work, get into another job. That's not their aim. They are here for some bigger purpose, and that's the reason I asked you, I had asked you all in the first, when I started off, are you here to make a significant impact? That significant impact can only come and can be achieved when you think of yourself as a leader with a winning quality. That's where the game changing happens. Otherwise, you see the bottom of the organization, it will have the survivors. Then you see the mid, they will have the thrivers. So you're in the mid then. But to get to the top of that pyramid is where the winning is where the transformation is. Just to say it quickly, if that makes sense.
Sorry, in the interest of time, yeah, we can take one more question before we wind
up. When you are speaking, you have spoken to leaders and asked that question, right? That 20% skill set, 80% is like us, and state of being plays a very important role. So just for quick tip and something to take away and work on those things, what are those attributes which goes in that 80% so that we can work on it and like be better in that segment?
Wonderful question. So one of those attributes is exactly what I said. You're working more on yourself. You have to see how you're giving your time. One of the things that I had spoken to many of these senior leaders is about their schedule. And if you see their schedule from morning to night, it's packed with work and family. So there is no time for yourself. So that itself becomes one of the major things of your 80% is in what ways am I becoming more confident? In what ways am I speaking aloud? In what ways am I thinking differently? Are you able to navigate corporate politics really well? Because I talk about that very openly. People tell me corporate politics, no, Payal. I'm like, no. If no, then what are you doing in the corporate world? I'm not saying that you go out there and play dirty politics. That's not my intention. But my intention is to make you aware that there is politics around you. There is power game going on. You've got to be aware of that power game and know how to play it. So those are the types of things. It's up to you. You may have the skills, but the power play is not allowing you to go up. What's the point? So that's where I'm saying that 80% is coming. That does make sense? Very quickly, I've answered your question. Okay.
One more question.
Yeah. Yeah, so you talked about the survivors, thrivers, and winners. In this challenging economy, people being laid off, it is obvious for people to get into their survival mode. They just want to make sure they are not on the list. So how does one deal with that?
Very nice. So basically, our brains are wired for survival. That's the basic. Our brains are wired for survival. When there's a layoff going on, you're not going to be thinking about your big vision. Impossible. You're going to be thinking, how do I survive? However, that thinking is very different from your day-to-day operations. In your day-to-day operations, a person who is thinking of survival versus in every single day you have been working as a winner. When these things happen, that you might be laid off or anything for that matter, you have equipped yourself so well that you know exactly who will be able to take you into which organization. That's number one. Number two is, every single day, what mindset are you operating at? During that time, when he said, when layoffs and everything are going on, if I'm thinking of surviving, that's natural for me. But during the time of the layoffs, when I'm still thinking of survival, what are my actions like? What is my game plan like? That comes every day. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. So just quickly I've answered it, but once I get off the stage, I will take that. Then, okay. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me here. If any of you are on LinkedIn and Instagram, I'll be happy to connect. Thank you so much. Love you all.
Thank you, Payal, for the insightful session. We have a small token of appreciation for you. I would request Satish Vimal, our co-chair at PLF, to present you that.